February is the month of love, and we are here to give you love on the most non-buzzy Super Bowl, which should be buzzy. You're here to talk about J.J. Watt, Lattimore, things in the Cavs. They don't shoot enough threes, apparently. Apparently. Might have irritated.
Supposedly. Yeah, you might be a little irritated. Jeez.
I'm going to do an ode to not Ryan Gargo, but I'm going to do an ode to my man, Andre Drummond, and talk about my love for him. And then we're going to probably talk about Super Bowl prop bets, which we all love. And then our best dips and party favorite snacks in the Super Bowl. And,
all over that shit. But
my God. It literally, as I used to tell people, I don't even know what food is being served that's hard. All I want is Fritos or Tostitos and as many dips as possible.
I can't even go into what the things I've made. I'm like the appetizer queen.
Mm-hmm. I love. Oh my God! I'd be your appetizer eater. I'll
tease one.
Okay.
Bacon wrapped tater tots dipped in brown sugar. Who got me? Nobody.
My mom said this, and I agree with Jane Billman. You can put anything with brown sugar.
By the way, both of our mothers' names are Jane. Isn't that fabulous?
It is. It's a great.
We're just meant to be partners in this.
They are. We are. And the
know?
funny thing is, they put similar posts at times. That always makes me.
Andy is friends with my mother on Facebook. Yeah. My sister, my brothers, I think. I don't know.
I'm ready for my Wetzel family reunion card.
Oh, I know.
I'm gonna be fucking pissed
when COVID's done. It's happening. You're gonna be well versed in the Wetzel fan.
I want to hear all about it. I'll bring my pretzels and my what is that beer? Oh my gosh! Now I'm going down memory lane of German stuff. But yes, I want to hear it all. Wetzels, you better get prepared, Jimmy, Jake. I want to hear them all.
Jane. Oh, I thought you were keep going. Jamie, do you know I'm the only non-Jay in my family? Did you know that?
Oh yeah, you told me that. That's right. That's right.
So thanks, Mom and Dad. But I was born by Christmas, and recently my dad told me another name that they were going to name me. And I'm like, where did that? I didn't know that. So they've been doing their family history thing, or the ancestry thing or whatever.
Oh yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I'm the only non-J. So that's cool.
But you are such a Holly. You're such a Holly.
Yeah, speaking of Christmas, the whole thing.
Right. But speaking of the letter J, I lead off. By the way, that's Holly Wetzel there. I'm Andy Billman here with my Bob Ross. I love Bob Ross. He's one of my favorite from the 80s and 90s and probably 70s. Happy little trees. Definitely coffee. Definitely.
I'm definitely drinking a vodka soda.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Jake. Jake officially adopted me. Damien, good to see you in the house, Damien. Classic mozzarella sticks are the best. I agree. This is one of the I love EJ Scalata. Hello, the letter people, and Jake Wetzel. Big shout out to Jakey.
Oh, always. You're Andy. He's not saying that you're being adopted family. He's saying that I was adopted because I'm the only non-J family.
Fuck! I thought I was in the fucking Wetzel family.
No, any opportunity to just what brothers do. You know what I mean?
I understand. Well, that's a good dig.
I was told that growing up for most of my life that I was adopted from my siblings.
Well, I'm starting to see everybody's now in tune with the Wetzel humor. So when you see Holly in the streets, you can say adopted. And
correct.
Now you're part of the Set the Edge family.
Yeah, thanks.
By the way, I love classic mozzarella sticks. I'm a huge chicken wing fan. And this is one of the few times, too, pizza rolls are great. I'm not a big pizza roll fan, but I am on these days. I love pizza rolls. Bagel bites.
Have dinner tonight?
Oh, my God. I'd be there. I love pizza. Okay.
I didn't cook anything. I'm like, I need to make something fast. We had the show tonight. It's been a busy week. And when my friends come over and stay, like I always have like a staple like for late night snacks. And it's always pizza rolls. And I had nothing. I had ate all my food for the week. Looking at my freezer and I'm like, fuck it. Pizza rolls it is. So
pizza rolls are great. I would be oh my gosh, we are maybe because I love pizza rolls. I love snacks. I love bite-sized things. I love nachos, as Holly already knows.
Mm.
I am that guy. Like, I'm a great picnicker. Like,
Yeah, but
this.
you were the worst nacho orderer ever when we met up. Because it was like, I want nachos, but I don't want this, 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 this. And I'm a picky eater with that topping stuff. But then you're like, well, put it on the side. They brought this massive football field length of chicken nachos and cheese,
very
and
good,
there's like 17 sides. And
Mhm.
Andy, I think you had maybe 3 or 4 chips, and then you're like, and you had a little bit of the dips, and you're like, not that.
I was more partaking in the
Poor
beverages.
waitress.
I was more partaking in the beverages. The chicken wings were
You
great.
did eat the
though.
chicken wings. That's right.
They
But the
were
largest nacho. Anyway, sorry,
Yeah.
we're way off track here. But
Oh, no, way off track. Isaac, hello. I'll get back on track. Isaac, go Irish. I'm very excited about next year. By the way, they're in probation. No more trouble for the Irish football team. Damien, Tyson, yes, that's a good one. Tyson, boneless wings in the air fryer. That's a great call. Tyson, obviously I'm a wing snob. You got to go to them at a good restaurant. But if you have to go at home, Tyson can pull you out of the depths.
Mhm.
They're good. They're not great, but they're good. But they have to have, but you have to have extra saucy stuff with it.
Mhm.
Speaking of extra saucy stuff, this has been a quiet week, not just for Super Bowl stuff, which we'll get to, but the Browns. It's been really just which I guess is good, as you don't want any noise this week, but it's unusual not to see the Baker Mayfield tour or, these other people on microphone stuff. So, we've already kind of hammered to death. You can listen to the last Set the Edge show to hear my opinion and Holly's opinion about the Deshaun Watson thing. Won't relive that, but I'm sure someone tickles my itch on one of these chat things. I'm sure you won't take lunch. But I'd like to kind of turn the story to J.J. Watt, as I've been hearing more about that in Lattimore. I think that's hopefully where the Browns are turning their attention to. I know there's been a lot of debate. Is it too expensive for J.J. Watt? I am not a draft pick guy. If it takes a first or second round pick, I think first is expensive, but it takes a second round pick to get J.J. Watt, I would press that button. I would press it hard. I think J.J. Watt would be a great piece. We all know we love.
You want him over Hendrickson?
There's a great article by Cleveland.com, and Hendrickson made a great. How should I put it? There was a great piece done by Mary Kay Kavanaugh on Hendrickson for the Saints and J.J. Watt for the Texans. I like J.J. Watt because I want someone who is more in that leadership role. Garrett's great. But I think at that point, Holly, where we kind of need a little more oomph to help Garrett. And I like Hendrickson. He's great. I want a star. I think J.J. Watt wants to win a Super Bowl. I think that guy is here to come claim a flag and a championship ring. Mm-hmm. And I like that, and I want that. And I think I've learned in sports, guys like that actually help more. And I thought last year he played like a guy who knew he was on his own island on defense. So I lead towards Watt. Hendrickson's good. No problems there. And he's a free agent, so you can sign him. But I think making the trade for Watt, I think it's time, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going back and forth on this because I see both ends of what what I think that's worth it. I do. JJ Watt brings a lot there. He's been in the league a while. He's definitely a major leader down in Houston. I mean, he's done so much for the city. So I like him, and I think that he would be good. He is expensive. I mean, and that's going to be a big piece of it. I look at Hendrickson. I mean, look, Vernon was older. Vernon was going to be 31 this year. I think he's going to be 31 this year.
Coming off an injury too.
I wouldn't mind someone younger, right? So, yeah. I mean, I go back and forth about it. We'll see what the analytics say.
I'm sure they're tabulating. Abacus is out. Calculators, Texas Instrument.
Yeah, I tend to lean. Look, I was very much on the JJ Watt train, and I'm starting to change my tune a little bit. I think I'd rather go Hendrickson. So.
Hendrickson is good. I let me state this. I don't care if one or the other, but I think someone on that level is needed. I do. The Browns need to help out Garrett. Garrett is a star. He needs more help. And Olivier Vernon's not coming back, so you got to replace him in more, in my opinion. So I think you need a Hendrickson. I think you need a star. There you go. You need a star. Hendrickson does fit that bill. His numbers were very good last year, and J.J. Watt certainly fills that bill.
Right.
Damian Fucella brought up something that got brought up to me on Instagram today in a note. There's a report that Richard Sherman wants to join Joe Woods in Cleveland. Richard Sherman has done this a few past years. That's how he got San Francisco. I think Richard Sherman would be nice. Not a must. If he wants to come to Cleveland on an El Cheapo deal, cool.
Well, that's going to be the key. And I don't think that's. I don't think Cheapo is part of that whole conversation.
Yeah, like if someone were to go, would you like Richard Sherman? Yeah, I would. Would Richard Sherman help? Oh, sure. Do you need Richard Sherman like we just talked about Hendrickson and J.J. Watt? Not really, no.
Right, when you put it in the context, for sure.
Correct. I mean, again, like I get excited about that. I like that he's played for Joe Woods. Sherman brings the attitude I like, actually. He has that Landry in him, and I like that. I actually like Richard Sherman a lot. I enjoy him as a person, but, you know, there's a reason why he's not going to, you know, he's getting towards the end of his career. And
maybe what look, I don't see it, but
I don't think it either. I think, you know, I know the other big rumors.
We're going, you know, we're not trying to throw, you know, we're not doing that. That's not our direction. You know what I'm saying?
No.
So
no, I don't think, like, could I see Richard Sherman ending up in Cleveland? Yes. Would that excite me? I would like it. I wouldn't be excited. I would like it. Like I would like it as I like that controller hitting the ground there. It's been a great week.
He's just been bitching about how ridiculously messy that room is that he is in because of his children. And
example A, Xbox controller, fall, breakdown, and just explosion of batteries. I love cleaning boys' rooms. They are great. And the surprises you will find. It's almost like the surprises you will find on this podcast. They just make you laugh, and they make you laugh, and they make you laugh.
Look at you. Are you sure that coffee's not spiked?
Oh, my God. It should be. It should be. I sadly have to do, oh, my God, I'm not going to get into it. I have to do so much. In production, it's great. You do all the filming. You do all these different things. There's this other side of budgets and money. I have to do that tonight, and I have been postponing it, and I have to do it tonight, and I'm fucking dreading it. Grids, Excels, calculators, figuring out numbers. Ugh.
Very unfun stuff.
It gives you the shakes because just give you shakes. As does the Browns not doing anything on defense either. They need to do something though. Lattimore's been also rumors I was getting to. Lattimore is definitely more on the level of what I'm thinking of. A leader. He's young. He's youthful. He is a Cleveland kid.
Yep, which is cool. Right.
Which is cool. We always love that. I would like that move. Now, that move would excite me. I still think he had something on the D line. Now, he's being rumored because the Saints are cutting payroll everywhere. So, and they've made that public. That's not like rumored. They're making it public. Like they need to cut salary. So Lattimore, Hendrickson's a free agent, so you know you can make a stab on him. J.J. Watt, like again, Sherman would be nice. I'm not complaining. That'd be nice. But these other guys are the guys I'm more thinking of. Is in particular Hendrickson and Watt. Not that Lattimore's not good. He is, but I want a defensive end who can pass and hit the quarterback.
Right, like, multidimensional.
Well, put pressure on the quarterback. Put pressure on the quarterback. In my experience, when I talk to older GMs, over time, and I think the Browns in the 80s proved this. We had a wonderful secondary with Dixon and Minifield and really good. But when you can't rush John Elway, it gets dicey.
Speaking of rushing the quarterback, I hope that you think Miles is going to be back to 100%?
I hope so.
I'm hoping that this off season really helps him out. He really just took, a large turn after COVID, which is pretty scary. So,
yeah, I mean, I think to what Holly's mentioning, and it's across the league, and it's across sports. I know there's a couple of baseball players that kind of came out early and talked about it. I haven't seen so much in the NFL and the NBA, but Holly's right. I mean, you do have to wonder. I mean, I'll throw Denzel Ward in there too, to be honest with you. You just hope that they're feeling normal and healthy and fine. But there's no question. And I actually applaud Garrett, because a lot of guys would have hidden from that, and that's not easy to talk about as an athlete because you're putting out your physical performance. So to talk about something that doesn't make you feel good is not easy. So I give him a lot of credit. He deserves a lot of credit for that.
Yeah. Well, then you see him as weak, and then other teams see you as weak, and other players see you as weak. It's just that's got to be a tough. That'd be tough. He's just had a tough 2 years, man.
He really has.
He has not been able to really catch a break. So.
No, I love Miles. I love what he does for the city. He's a good person. He's good for this team. And I just see the Browns, I think, as everybody else. I don't think this is over. Like it is. It's Captain Obvious. Like the offense, okay, there's some things to figure out, but the defense needs a lot of help. Mm-hmm. These players being bantered to me makes a lot of sense. And I think it worked. I mean, I do think, obviously, after the Super Bowl, as we all know in this town, I think rumors will start to swirl even more. This is my final note on this. I think you're going to see a lot more rumors. Richard Sherman wants to come to Cleveland. I think you're going to hear more of those kind of rumors being floated out there. I do. Yeah.
Well, this is the fun part too. Like we're in this is going to be fun for a fun off season. I'm excited. I think that we're in a much better place than we've ever been in a very, very long time. So I like this. I like and I know, look, we poo-pooed the Deshaun Watson stuff last week, but I mean, regardless, it's still kind of fun to kind of go back and forth and make up these different. Speaking of him, real quick, what really bothered me, by the way, not to go into that again, but I will for just a quick second. It really bothers me that he's demanding it. Like he's not going to play. He's going to refuse to play if he doesn't get traded. Like I'm so sick of that bullshit. I really am. It's like you're not in a life or death situation. All right. You're not threatened. You're doing a job. There's a lot of jobs we don't like. There's nothing that I think is beyond repair there. I just don't know. I'm not close to the situation, but that's my own opinion on it, that I just think that now it's getting a little ridiculous. And sometimes I think the players get a lot of power with a lot of these situations, and I don't like it.
Here's where I'll come out on it. I think he's made it to a point where the organization and Deshaun Watson, it's looking severed, and that's obviously as severe as it can get. It reminds me of Carson Palmer. It reminds me at times with there's been a lot of these situations.
What if that happens somewhere else, Andy? You're training there too?
I know. Holly, you're right. I mean, this happens in sports quite a bit throughout history.
I know it does. And it drives me crazy. He's not the first to do it.
No. I mean, Brett Favre did it, and he got hammered for his comments about that. And there's other people out there. Here's what I come out on it. Obviously, Deshaun Watson's very unhappy. And obviously, there was a big disconnect between the front office and ownership and Deshaun Watson. I think this is a big touch of gray situation. I think there's some things the Texans could have done. I think there's some things Watson could have done to help himself out too. And now I will say this is where they have to get together. It has gone to the boiling point. I mean, when your agent turns in something saying he has got to be traded, he's not going to be happy. That's severe. I mean, that's so bad. And he's been public about it, and he's not been thrilled about it. And I don't know. I mean, I am not close enough to, or been following the story enough to know like why that mental breakdown happened. But I will say it's severe. The Texans are in a no-win situation. They are.
Right. And they've come out and look, I've seen they've tried to come out to try and say they want to repair this. They want to do everything that they can to fix it. It's not him again. They're not at war, at least publicly. I mean, on both ends, maybe on one end, but not the other. Yeah. I don't know. I think it bothers me more of that trend of just that I refuse to play. And but that trend bothers me. And that's across all the major sports. That's not just the NFL. So
it happens forever. I come from a world where you try to work things out, and if you can't, you do things where you got to do. I've just have learned because of
there forever. You know what I mean? I know. You ride it out.
I agree. And the thing is, these things are much larger than that, as we all know, because they're paying customers, they're season ticket holders, there's jerseys being bought, there's a whole bunch of things. The Texans signed him to a big new deal, so that's part of the situation. It's very okay. All these things are complicated, and that's why I always say there's a touch of gray here. I think some things the Texans could have done. I do. I think the Texans could have come to Deshaun.
Well, they're not innocent.
after the O'Brien firing, be like, hey, look, let's work through this together and get. They didn't do that. They clearly didn't.
Right.
Because he felt alienated. So that's why he did what he did. And at the same time, Deshaun Watson, I thought he did get it out, some of his verbal messaging. At some point, I would think you go, hey, let this settle down. Why don't you talk to the Texans and see what you can figure out together as a team here? Because in fairness to the Texans, you did go to the playoffs with them, and you went to Kansas City and were up 24-0 in a game before you lost. So it isn't like the Texans are scrap metal before this year. They were pretty good. Right. So, I mean, they were playing in the opening game for a reason on NBC because they were thought of as a good team. Absolutely. So it was a stunning fall from grace. So I just think all these things come. All I'll say, though, from afar, from the not 50,000 foot view, this unraveled fast for this team this year. Again, they were picked to do big things. And they not only fell flat, they lost their coach. That's a cleaning house situation.
Yeah, it was bad. Look, there was issues from top to bottom in the locker room. I mean, there was everywhere you turn. And I will say, though, what it really does make you realize is how important setting a good tone and a culture, starting at the top through. I mean, boy, oh boy, if that's not evident, I don't know what is. And now we've seen it even more firsthand with the Browns this past year. So it's night and day. And, boy, I'm really glad we're not the Texans.
It's a mess. It's a mess.
I would so much rather be a part of the Browns right now than probably almost any other team outside of them playing the Super Bowl right now. I mean, that's there's no way.
They are going through things where they actually have teams and places and parts where they could go to big places, and they are dismantling. In the case of the Browns, at least it's like, hey, we suck anyway, so we might as well just do shit just to try to get things going. That's not the case here. There are parts and players in place that can do big things, and there.
Well, that was almost kind of us to an extent last year, right? We had like all these pieces, but nothing was fitting, right? I mean, and then we could actually compare that a lot to the Cavs because of what Colin Sexton's awesome Players Tribune. It was Players Tribune, right? Article, which we'll get into, but having that right coach, having that right regime in place makes a huge difference.
Winning helps. And when you start losing, like the Texans did, it can unravel fast. And what I've also learned about sports and in life is when you're winning, it's great. The what you really learn in these times is how you react from losses and how you react from negative pushback. That's what you really see. And that's why, to be fair to the Browns, and we love them, they still lost. So there's a lot of reaction to go next year and how they handle that. And how they handle expectations.
A lot more pressure, Andy.
A lot more pressure.
A lot more pressure.
A whole lot more pressure is right. And it's not going to be a COVID year. So you're going to have press in Berea a lot and microphone stuff. It's going to be much different. I think it's going to be much different. We can get it at a different time. But I do think the expectations change, as we all know. But I mean, those are things that come too. Damian, Watson is a quitter. Baker Mayfield begged a previous 0-16 team to draft him. I'll take Baker any day over Watson. My thoughts are I like Baker Mayfield a lot. He is the right fit for this team, and I loved how he grew. And I did like that about Baker when he came in here. He embraced it and accepted it. Here's the thing I'll say about Watson. There's a lot that went down here, and the one thing I'll say in fairness to Watson, it just isn't him. J.J. Watt wants to walk out of Houston too.
Right. So, no, there's clearly issues, Andy. And I think it comes down to the demanding, and I refuse to play. I think that just sets a different tone for everyone else in the league. I think it sets a bad precedent that, you're not always going to like your job and maybe who you work for and everything, right? It's not, but at the same time, if you're trying to work something out, again, I'm not either as close to the situation and probably have been following it close enough at this point to be giving this opinion, but I'm going to give it anyway. So
set the edge, baby.
Right. Exactly. But I don't like that. And I don't like that mentality. And if anything, him making these major stands of I'm not playing, then I don't know. I don't think I want that either. I mean, Baker probably had more of I don't know. He had a lot of reasons maybe to be way more critical publicly than he's been with what happened with the Browns since he's been with the Browns. And he's definitely had foot and mouth moments, but nothing, to this major extent. And no, he's not
a revolt.
Yet, but
right. And I mean, to what Holly said, for everything Baker's had before this year, he has never done that jump ship. He's never had walking the plank. He's never had those moments. And
we've had many opportunities to where he probably could have pushed that limit a little bit. Do you know what I'm saying? I mean, he kept his head down. He didn't jump ship. And I think that says something as a leader. You're supposed to be the leader of the team. You're the quarterback, right? And that's taking leadership and trying to figure something out and make something work, whatever that means, or coming to some type of agreement to see.
Embrace the suck. Things are not going to always go your way. Things are always going to happen. Things are not always going to go smooth with projects or whatever. And on the field, it may get wet. It may get windy. A player might get injured. Things might change. A ref might throw a flag. You got to be able to prepare to handle that and move forward. And that in sports sometimes gets very lost in these teams and players. The Browns did not lose that this year. And I'll be frank, that's why they succeeded so well. The mentality on this team was wonderful. Hey, we lost players to COVID. We're going into Pittsburgh. We're going to win that game. Hey, it's a windy day here. The weather's not great. We learned from the Raiders game. Win the Texans game. Win the Eagles game.
Right.
Those moments. Hey, Joe Burrow scored a touchdown. It's on the road. We lost BJ. Time to go. Time to get down the field and get that touchdown.
Yeah. And I hope that mentality stays. Honestly, too, as you're talking through that a little bit, I'm thinking about the fact that, I think in a weird way, COVID forced a lot of that too. There wasn't any real opportunity for them to go out, to get distracted, to maybe make stupid decisions, to maybe not be as all in or get distracted, I guess. I think, or maybe have their own agenda, right? I think that, and with any type of professional athlete, they all have their own agenda, right? And that's the whole point of, there's been a lot of complaints with that across all the leagues of sometimes players care more about their agenda and their own identity than they do the team and what they're really trying to accomplish and what they're getting paid to do. So I think that because of COVID, all just went away because there wasn't any of that anymore. They weren't able to do any of that. So that focus shifted. So I'm hoping that focus stays. Because we are going to go back to normal. We are going to go back to those opportunities where they're going to be able to go out and do whatever they want. So I do think that COVID in a weird way did help them all kind of really hone in on what's important and really wanting this. And I am weirdly grateful for that. But the other hand, I hope that it stays.
I think Holly makes a great point. I think in a way, even though it set up a bunch of challengers for this team and this organization and for everybody, not just the Browns, everybody had to deal with it. But I think it really helped the Browns remain focused. And I think it really helped with outside distractions. And that's why I mentioned, I go, next year there's going to be, there's going to be reporters back in Berea.
Yeah.
There's going to be much more.
Andy, right in your face, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, you're going to walk into even to Cincinnati next year and there's going to be fans there. You're going to walk into Pittsburgh, there's going to be fans there. It all changes. And, that's embracing the suck that way. But this team, from what I can tell and from what I can see, I do think we'll be ready for it. I'm not as concerned as I think I would normally be. So, anyways, Damian, absolute dumpster fire with Houston sports. Agreed. That is bad. And let them rot. God knows the Astros fucked us up a few years ago in baseball. And the Texans, hey, until this year, the Browns never beat the Texans, so fuck them, right? And I will never forget the Houston Oilers for as long as I live as a Browns fan. So I don't have any, I'm sorry. No. They can go wherever. I guess it's a good time to do the prop bet section. So real quickly, I'll ask Holly. Holly, who do you like, Chiefs or Tampa Bay? Is Tommy going to win?
Do you want to go through? Do you want to do these first, and then end with who we think is going to win?
Okay, we can do that. There are Super Bowl prop bets. I actually love doing this too.
These are fun.
Oh my God, they're great. The one that we're referencing is from the Washington Post, I believe. So you can follow along there.
It's a good mix.
Oh my God, there's great. So here's a few of them. And I love these things. Okay. I am definitely Squares guy. When we do the show close to the tournament, I hope Holly will join me. I'm in these great weird pools around the country where it's like you select one team from each region. It's great. You select an MVP. It's great. Super Bowl, same way. March Madness, Super Bowl. What do you want to bet on? Coin toss? What do you want? I'm there. Let's go. Let's have some fun.
I know. I'm with you.
Like let's have some fun. All right. Will Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan sing the national anthem in less than 2 minutes? Absolutely not. No.
No. They're gonna ride that. And hey, I would too. If I'm singing the fucking national anthem at the Super Bowl, I'm riding that shit out as long as I can. Start playing that music to cut me off because I'm just gonna belt it and I'm gonna take my grand old time. There's no way. So.
Especially in a pandemic when no one else is getting. I mean, the Super Bowl numbers I think are going to be out off the wall. I really do. I just get the feeling. Coin toss, obviously heads or tails. Will there be a score in the first 5 minutes and 30 seconds of the game? 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I say yes too, especially with these teams.
Yes.
Will the score ever be tied after it's 0-0? Yes, I actually do think so. Yes. Will the jersey number of the player to score first be over 17.5? This is a terrible one. What do you think?
I had to look up some players' numbers because I didn't know. I'm going to say over, though, because if I'm looking at Tyreek Hill. Well, Tyreek Hill's 10. Fournette's 28. Le'Veon Bell's 26. Kelsey
and does that count for Tom Brady? Is he throwing the pass? Does that mean is he scoring?
I didn't really say. That wasn't that specific, so boo-hoo.
Boo-hoo. Yeah, I don't like that one because Tyreek Hill's 10. Yeah. Which team will commit the first accepted penalty? Oh my gosh! I mean, this is the kind of yeah. How many total touchdowns?
Penalty, don't they? They have the highest number of penalties this year.
Yes, the Chiefs do. I'll just say this: their speed causes penalties. That's what I learned in that game. Because I thought the Browns made a lot of mistakes and errors. Yes, because of different things and no practicing.
Yeah.
I thought the Chiefs really forced a team to make penalties.
Yeah.
Largest lead by either team be over 14.5. I think as this game goes along, I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out. So yes to that.
Oh, I said under. I think it's going to be real close.
A lot of people do. I don't know. I just get the feeling the Chiefs are going to blow them out. So I guess you don't have to ask me who I think is going to win. How many total points will be scored in the first half? Over 27.5 or under. I will warn this as Holly thinks. It is supposed to be wet, so that's tricky. It's not a given. It's supposed to be wet, so I don't know. Points.
I said under.
It's weird. The Super Bowl as it gets going.
I don't know.
It's a lot. It's tricky.
Oh, I didn't read that right. I guess.
I'll say over only because these two teams have been to the Super Bowl, and obviously Tom has been there.
I'll say under just because you said over. So
yeah, but I will say again, I'll repeat it again. A wet track affects that a lot. It's supposed to be wet. It is supposed to be raining.
Yeah.
Will the weekend be? What is this? Oh, the weekend's a band. Yeah, this is where I'm not hip to the hop.
It's a person.
It is a person. By the way, I love his song. I know
Great
who it
man.
is. Fantastic guy. Fantastic guy. Big fan. I love that song. I love Van Halen, Rolling Stones, and The Weeknd. I'm there. I'm all over it. I'm all over
it. He'll be wearing sunglasses. He'll be wearing sunglasses.
Absolutely.
So that's like the cool thing to do. Apparently, look at Andy Billman over there, the glasses. So good.
When Holly and I met up at the bar, I did not wear sunglasses, just for the record. How many touchdown passes will be through? But maybe the next time I will. Patrick Mahomes. Ooh, there we go. We really will be setting the edge.
What? Holly, take those off. You look like an idiot.
Those two in the corner, you got to cut them off like now. They haven't even started drinking. Yeah, we know, but look at that. Patrick Mahomes, how many touchdown passes will be thrown? Over 2.5. Over 2.5, not under.
Yeah, I said over.
Over. How many receiving yards will Tyreek Hill have? Over 90 or under 90.5? That is a great number. That's a coin flip. That's a great number.
It is because he's averaging more than that.
Yep, that's a Super Bowl. That's tricky. That is you can go either way there. I would, if I'm a gambler, stay away from that one. We'll jump ahead to the end here. How many will the total points be? Will total points scored be odd or even? God, that. Oh my God.
I don't know. I said even. What the fuck?
Fuck it.
Like,
that's terrible.
That's what you.
That's like people who play slot
Let's
machines.
not end on that one. How about
Yes.
how many interceptions? Oh my God, I cannot talk. How many interceptions will be thrown? Over 1.5 or under 1.5? I said over. I think Brady's gonna throw a couple.
Yeah, actually, I agree. There you go. I agree because I saw him this last time. Clearly, I'm taking the Chiefs. I like this game to stay close early. I think as the game goes along, I think the speed of the Chiefs are just too much. I think it's time to have a back-to-back champion. I think the Chiefs are ready. I was impressed by how loosey-goosey they were in the game with the Bills. Even when they were down early, they didn't blink. They came right back after that punt fumble. I think the Chiefs are going to win big as the game goes on.
I'm taking the Bucks. I can't, man. I like Tom Brady. I don't not like Tom Brady. I didn't really care for the Patriots when they won every year, so like that was annoying. But Tom Brady as a person, like I think he's fantastic. I think it's unbelievable what he's doing at his age and that he wants to play possibly after over 45. Mm-hmm. I don't know. The fact that he took this team to the Super Bowl, that's crazy. So I'm going in on Tom Brady. And I don't care, by the way. People are like, oh, well, if the Chiefs win, like justifies like a little bit that we lost them. And it's like, it doesn't.
Don't take second place trophy ribbons, okay?
No. Don't. So absolutely not. I'm taking no. Who cares?
No.
I can't bet against Brady. So because I like Patrick Mahomes a lot. I do. I think he's awesome. I think it'd be great. Like you said, like a back-to-back. I think it's time. Yep. I don't think Tom Brady's done yet, and he is just he's locked in.
I've listened to all these different prognosticators and personalities. Everybody's on the Wetzel train, so I'm on my island here. A lot of people are having a tough time with this. Bettors are telling you that too. Is that line has stayed right at 3, which I'm surprised. I think that's a light line, but a lot of people believe in Tom Brady. This is a home game, Tampa. This is the first time ever a team is playing in a Super Bowl.
Who's been in Tampa for that long?
I know.
That it's a home game or that it's home turf. Like, fuck. Tom Brady's been there a year. It ain't home for Tom Brady, right? Like, Tom Brady in New England's a whole different story, I think. That's home. If they're playing in New England, right, he's still playing for the Patriots. Whole different story. Then I'm home advantage to a team. This is like we're both going to Tampa to play in the Super Bowl. Don't mind us the fact that we played our home games here.
This is a I didn't realize we had a pirate ship here in the stadium.
Hey, who's that?
Did anybody get else lost in the game today? I got streets blocked.
Whoops, did I just walk in the visitor locker room? I'm sorry.
I didn't realize how large these bathrooms are. I mean, look, here's the thing. Tom is a superstar. Chris Russo said it really well today. It's a tricky game because of what Holly's alluded to with Tom. All I say, I'm just on this wavelength after the Browns played. I thought the Browns were going to win that game. And the way the Chiefs defense kind of like, we got this. And I was like, wow. And what Chad Henne did, what I saw the follow up with the Bills, I was like, the Chiefs are really.
We couldn't stop Chad Henne. So let's not we couldn't. It is what it is. We couldn't do it, Andy. Like
that fucking blew. God. It's like me running down the sideline for a first down. Come on. And Jesus, with boots on. But look, I mean, with sunglasses. So look, ought to be said, I do think the Chiefs are a super team. Next year, by the way, I am anti-Chiefs. Time to beat those fucks. Yeah. We got to beat them. But right now,
everybody,
I find that team very likable. I'm with Holly. I like Andy Reid. I like Patrick Mahomes a lot. I think Patrick Mahomes is great for the league. But again, next year, go Browns. And we go to Kansas City, wherever we play them. We got to. It's annoying, but they're very talented.
Next year, right? In the regular season?
In Arrowhead.
Yeah, next year's going to be tough.
Tough. But anyways, that's a Super Bowl. I will start with this, and I'll let Holly take the torch. We're only 40 minutes in. My God. I love Super Bowl parties. But here's where I am. This is where my fandom comes in. I love pregame snacks. I do cocktails. I go around. I love, like, there's usually games. I actually like all that. Once the games kicked off, I was like a drawbridge. Like, okay, bye. I want to watch a game. Like, I just want to watch.
Huh?
I get very fandom very quickly, where it's like, this has been great, but now I don't want to play Farkle anymore. Like, I'm ready to like watch the game.
Yeah.
I'm ready to like watch the game. One-on-one.
Yeah, I don't. Like, I don't get in. I like the commercials. I'm one of those losers that likes to watch the commercials and stuff and be totally judgy for absolutely no reason at the money that they spent putting on 30 seconds of trying to be funny. You know, I get into that. I get real judgy. You know what I mean? That's where I like to be.
Oh, by the way, we will break down commercials on Set the Edge. I watch commercials. I will watch Weekend. I will observe that performance as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's all about, look, I like watching the Super Bowl. I enjoy it. I feel like, though, this year is a little different. I think I will pay attention way more than I ever have because I feel so much, I think, just more invested in this whole season. You know, we had a dog in the fight in the postseason, and that's something that we haven't had in so long. So the postseason hasn't been even nearly remotely as engaging as it is now. So it's like, yeah, well, we did. The last game we played was against Kansas City. Now they're playing in the Super Bowl. So I see that comparison. So yeah, I'm going to watch that. Also, it's Patrick Mahomes, of course, right? And then it's Tom Brady. So it's like, how do you, I don't know. I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's going to be a fun game. I don't know what I'm doing for it yet. I don't think I'm doing anything. So I just made this entirely huge, like, yeah, I can't wait. I'm like, I might go to my friend's down. My friend Emily lives, I don't know, about an hour away or whatever. And I could drive down there. She's invited me and stuff, which would be fine. But then I'm like, oh, maybe I'll go watch with my dad. I don't know. But it's Sunday and I got to work.
I know.
So like, and honestly, the last couple of years I've hosted, but my friends are scattered. It is what it is. It's COVID. But then again, I wouldn't mind, honestly, making something for myself, watching this game and actually watching it. So like I said, it does go back to that this year. Actually, I think I'm going to be pretty much invested in wanting to watch the whole thing. So
yeah, I'll have my boys with me. We'll definitely be watching the game. Emily, I'm turning in despite my geriatric fall tonight.
Oh, she almost broke her ass. That's actually.
Oh no!
So
Emily.
I might come down, Emily. I'll let you know.
Come down and eat Frito pie. Oh my God, what are Frito pies?
That?
Whoa!
I know.
Man,
she knows how to get me.
Again, I love dips, Emily. I don't know if you got that.
That's the key to my heart right there is food.
Ooh, I love. Again, I love a good picnic. I'm the 4th of July. I love 4th of July. That's another one. Like, I want dips.
No, I'm with you there. Yeah.
I want dips. I want many things on the grill. I just all day long. Like donuts in the morning, cocktails throughout the day. Oh, that's a big event. Kevin Atkins, good to hear from you, Kevin. It's fun to know we can play with those guys. I agree with you. I think that here's the biggest thing about that again. After the Bills game, that awoken me to it's like, the Browns are really close.
Yeah.
They are really, really close. And in fact, I know, hey, could the Bills beat the Browns? Oh, sure. Do I fear the Bills? No. Nope.
No, I think we could have beat the Bills.
I think we would have beaten the Bills.
And that would have been a fun game. I honestly wanted to play the Ravens more. I thought that would have just
been
matchup. But no, he's right. Was that Kevin? Is that who?
Yeah, Kevin. Name? Yep.
That's what I mean. Like, no, it's fun to know that we can play with these guys. We belong here. Like, I used to say that I'd watch Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football, and I'm like, I feel like we're not even on that any type of like. Now, like, no, yes, we are, and more so than a lot of other teams. So yeah, it's a whole different way of watching the big game, right? It just is.
You appreciate it because you can see the Browns being there.
Right.
In the last 20 years, even the year they made the playoffs, even the year in 2007, they weren't there. this team, it's like possible.
Yeah.
Now, look, there have to be a lot of things, but okay, possible. It's not we're not crazy. It isn't like we're just like, oh, that's a Browns fan.
Shook your head.
I mean, it just when you like, I know Holly's in Cleveland. When you live in Connecticut and you walk in with hats like this, and you're like, "Oh my god, I heard you guys got shoes this year." Oh, it's so.
Yeah, no, that's true. Wearing Browns gear or any, Browns gear for sure.
Ooh.
Before was a tough sell.
Tough sell, but this year, guys in coffee shop, we're rooting for you. We think your team's neato, and it's like it's so nice. And I will say the America's team thing will sweep up even more, and all of it's good. Like I said, with Holly saying it, Gyps and Dip, this is a big celebration. We will break down commercials. We will break down Weekend. I now know it's a person, not a band. Love his song, by the way. I love Blinded by the Light. Love it. I play it on iTunes all the time.
Did you Google while we've been sitting here?
No. I'm proving this shit right now. Because when I get my Gazelle out, which is happening tomorrow morning, I'm going to listen to Blinded by the Light. And I might even take a picture and tweet it out and send it to Holly Wetzel just to prove my point. Here it is right here. Blinded by the Light by Weekend. And I not just download it. I didn't realize it's an individual. I thought it was a band. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I love them though. Great.
I like Vampire Weekend. That's a band.
It's a
good band.
It is a good. I do too. I don't know who they are. Look, I love. I don't know.
Oh
look,
yeah.
I'm that dude who loves music, and I'm like, I hear stuff and it's local. Like, who sings that? I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, but anytime someone plays like a VH1 pop up, I'm like, ooh, I know this knowledge. David Lee Roth
pop up video, by the way.
What's up?
I loved VH1 pop up video.
Oh, so
How good was that? I'm like, tell me more. I mean, I loved all the little mini facts.
Bon Jovi, White Snake, and the actress that flies across, and what she did. Oh my gosh, just all day long, day long. The Beavis and Butthead of my days. Remember them? For everybody remembers. All right, so Google that, Googlers. All right, we got 13 minutes left. We haven't talked about the Cavs yet. There's so much to digest there of the Cavs. So I guess we'll go here first. There's been a lot of banter about Andre Drummond, and Holly referenced it. I'll tee it up quickly. If you're listening to this show, you should really pay attention to the Sexton article, because I really thought it said a lot about who he is, because we know who he is from afar, and I do think we always got that feeling of like he embraces the city and he wants to win. I came away the way Holly just said it a few minutes ago on the show. I was really impressed by Sexton even more after the article. I really like how he spoke. I really like how he said, like, here's some things we had to go through. We earned some of these things, but we are ready to break out of it. I like the way he spoke. I like the way I actually brought up a moment with Alabama where he goes, we were 3-on-5 and I scored 40 points.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
That was crazy. So cool. I remember that story. So for people who don't know, he went to school at Alabama, and they played a game against Minnesota in one of those like preseason tournaments in Brooklyn. And at the Barclays Center, there was a fight. And and it's the same rules that applies to, I guess, in college. If a player comes off the bench in a basketball game and there's a fight, it's an automatic ejection. And sadly for Alabama, everyone left the bench. So they had no bench. So it was just the starting 5, and that's it. 2 players fouled out with 10 minutes left to go. So it was 3-on-5, and Alabama was down double digits. They got it down to 3 with less than 4 minutes to go.
19 points in the last 10 minutes. Which is so, like, that's now crazy. It's all kind of making sense, right? So, like, this is what he locks in, right? And he says, like, one of his quotes was, once you let me play, I'm going to give you everything I've got. And like, that I love that mentality. And honestly, throughout the article too, he was talking about the fact that going through 4 head coaches in 2 years, and when it's a young group like that, and it reminded me a lot of, he said, when they finally got Bickerstaff on board, and the way that when they didn't make the bubble, and Bickerstaff was like, remember this feeling. Know that we don't want to feel this way anymore. And Stefanski said the same thing to the Browns when they lost to the Chiefs. Remember this feeling. Remember how this is. We don't want to be back here again. And that resonates. So again, it reminds me of this new culture, and it's exciting. And I think with that type of mentality and that belief, and they just, this is a really fun, great start. And yeah, it's the team without LeBron, like he also mentioned too. So look, they have a long way to go. But they have been building on it. They have been. And he's right. That you do lose sight of that a little bit. I know I did. I was like, Cavs who when we first started this, right? Like, Jason Wade told me what's going on. I mean, I wasn't paying attention. So now I am.
We all are. And I mean, Holly hit on all the points. So to kind of go in the next level of this, I like how the embrace the suck motto has kind of gone to the Cavs. And the Cavs really needed it more than the Browns ever did, but the Cavs have really embraced it. And they have a tough stretch. For people who don't know, there's a great stat thrown out during the game. They only play one team between now and the break, which is March. I think it's March 7th is the official break because that's when the All-Star game is. So let's say it's March 4th. So between now and the beginning of March, Cavs only play one team with a losing record. One.
And they have a big West Coast trip here in these next 2 weeks.
Yep, starting on after the – and by the way, who do you play before you leave town? The Bucks back-to-back. I mean, Jesus.
Right. So I guess that's happening this year a lot more. I don't know.
I kind of – going down – I like it, and here's why. The NBA sometimes will play these weeks where it'd be like, play one game, off for 4 days, then back-to-back, over, under, and it's like these weird, wonky weeks. I kind of like how they're doing more of a baseball theme. Get to a city, play twice. I think that's fine. I don't mind it. It actually helps speed up the season. The NBA season's way too long. Once this gets done, they need to speed up the season. If you play back-to-back games in a road rent or home, I'm good with that. Like the season's way too long, so I actually like it. Going back to the Cavs though, and to the play on the field. Play on the court. There was an article written by Chris Fedor, and I like Chris a lot. You've gone into how the Cavs can't shoot threes, which is a problem. For people who didn't watch the Clippers game last night, it wasn't much of a blowout as what people made it out to be. The Cavs were in that game, and then Paul George just started
knocking them.
I mean, just
one after the other. And
you just got to tip your cap. And that's what I said last night on Instagram. I mean, sometimes you just got to tip your cap, and that's what happened there. However, he's right. They got to start shooting more threes. And he finally pointed out at the end of the article, and I'm just going to give this one little, and then we'll talk about Les Levine and get out of here. I don't think the Cavs should trade Drummond. I'm actually going back to that plank, and here's why. If you can establish a center and establish mid-range jumpers, which the Cavs have done, the Cavs need better three-point shooters or guys who can shoot the three and hit it. Because the Cavs have established the paint, and they've established a mid-range game. Kevin Love coming back might – I know this is going to shock people. Kevin Love coming back actually might help establish that. And there are people on the team and players, Garland and Sexton, need to shoot a little bit more from the three. But I do think Drummond helps that. And he said it, and the numbers will tell you that from Hollander's efficiency numbers. The Cavs are very efficient on defense. Why? There is no one who goes through the paint right now for Cleveland because of Drummond and Allen. And that helped a lot. So I know everybody's ready to just trade Drummond, and I know they need to shoot the threes better. I get it. But there's some big positives here too. And I just think you're a couple shooters away. And yes, this is where the NBA does get you down a little bit. The Cavs, I like Sexton a lot. Love that article. They do need someone, though, in that elite A level. And Sexton's just not that guy. And Garland's not that guy. And Drummond's not that guy. And Kevin Love's not that guy. They're good B players. And that's nothing bad. That's just being accurate. Right. They're very good B players. But that A level, which is so elite, they just don't have it. And when we watch someone like Paul George last night, who's on that level,
that's a big difference. It exposes a lot, right? And also, does he, I've heard a lot of back and forth of whether or not if he wants to be traded. That goes back to that whole idea. I don't know. Does he? I've heard both. He's not playing like he wants to be traded.
I don't think he does. I think
he's hustling. I don't. He's playing defense. I don't see a lack of what's the word I'm looking
Effort.
for? Thank you. Effort. I don't know why I couldn't think of that. I don't see that with him, so I don't know. I don't know.
Here's the thing about the Cavs. They're about ready to go through a tough stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And everything I just said, I know in my heart of hearts, I think Drummond's going to get traded. And I also think the Cavs are going to start losing games. I just want to state this before we get to Les Levine. Don't lose hope and lose sight of the positivity. This is a tough stretch. They're about ready to go down. They are going to lose some games. It's coming. That doesn't mean they can't make the playoffs. It doesn't mean that this whole thing is FUBAR. This is for real. I will warn. The Cavs are about ready to go through a tough stretch. I think it's going to be a real grind these next 2 weeks. I really do. And it starts on Friday, again, with the Bucks on a back-to-back. It's tough. If the Cavs in this next stretch can somehow go 4-3, 3-4, that'd be great.
That's what I mean. They got these next 2 weeks here are big. So, but I think they know that. Look, I've definitely have changed my tune on them quite a bit. So as long as you stay competitive and you play like you want it and you hustle and you give a shit, that's the most important thing. Because there's a lot of players, there's a lot of teams right now, not right now, but always, that just don't really give a shit. And you can tell, right? And even Sexton brought that up, like after so many games in the season, like, you're not going anywhere. That mentality changes. So
I'm with you. The Cavs don't check out. Don't check out. I agree with Holly. I'll leave on this note with the Cavs. I like where this team's going. I really like Bickerstaff. I really like Sexton. I really like Garland. I do. I like some of these parts. There are some things that are clearly missing. Drummond is probably not coming back next year. I'm not naive about that. Okay. But you need to replace him. You got to give the Cavs need one more scorer, a point guard, and more size. It isn't like the Browns where I think if they make some trades on defense or add some players, I think they're there.
Look, the Cavs spend money. The Cavs spend money.
No, you hit it. That's what I was going to say.
So
Gilbert was spending money.
They need a hole. They got a hole. They're going to fill it. I really believe that. Heart of hearts.
Yes, I do too. And if they trade Drummond, I've been hearing from people they're not going to just trade for draft picks. I want to see it to believe it, but that's what I've been hearing from people who say
Dan
that.
Gilbert likes those flashy names. He likes those big names. He likes those big trades. He is not shy to that. So
no,
stay tuned.
He's a platinum owner, to say the least. You're right. Stay tuned's right. All right, Les Levine. That's been a lot today in Cleveland media. I actually grew up watching Les on Sports Channel because I was in Columbus at the time where I really discovered him. And he did this, I forget what it was called late at night, but it's funny because Les would have these prank calls and Les would get so frustrated towards the end of the show.
But he handled them really well.
Yes, he did. Yeah, Les was a true gentleman. Les was a great pioneer in this space. And the thing I really respect about him most, I never met Les. I was not fortunate enough. I wish I could have. I just never got the chance to meet him. The one thing I liked about Les was I've been told this and I've been hearing it today. He's a one-man band. He did his own broadcast. He kind of spun his own records. He brought his microphone and he sold his own ads. As a guy who does this, I know Holly, I really appreciate that. That's cool. Like that says a lot about your love and what you do. It's a big loss. I wish I would have met him, but for people out there to go like, is it like, you should really take time to read on who Les Levine is. He did a lot in an era where it could have been easy to check out and quit, and he didn't. And it says a lot about him. It could have been easy for him to quit. Easy.
Oh yeah, for sure. I did get to meet him a couple of times throughout my career, and he was always super nice. And he just was always, I mean, from what everything I've gathered from him, he was always trying to better everyone else around him. And I think that's really important. And like you said, he was a pioneer. And I think that gets lost a lot these days because, I don't know, sports radio, really any radio now, and moving forward, those guys don't exist anymore. That they're at the tail end of their careers. These long, dedicated, decades upon decades of putting in the work because they love it, not because they were a former athlete, not because they're getting these major contracts, because they started from the beginning and they put in the work and they put in the time for nothing because they just love to do it. And I think that doesn't exist much anymore. And I think that that's so important. And he was a really good representation of that, of someone that just loved what he did. And I like I said, I did meet him a couple times, and I did get to see him at Sokolowski's, which is one of like Cleveland's staple restaurants, which is unfortunately closed now because of the pandemic. But I would see him there at lunch. He was always there. So, but yeah, I mean, he was such a pinnacle in Cleveland media, and I just think with him, again, he just represents that real grounded. Just I love what I do, and like you said, he does it his way. And it's sad and it's hard because I know he helped so many people throughout their career and inspired a lot of people. And he's not the only broadcaster that we've lost this year.
Yeah.
And these guys make a really big impact on a lot of people's lives and careers. So
when you hear people up and down the radio dial talk about him, it tells you his place.
Oh,
the
yeah.
last thing that I want to touch on that Holly said, and again, I wish I could have met him. Everyone who I know and talked and heard today on radio or whatever else spoke about how he wanted to help people. This is a cutthroat, nasty industry at times. For him to do that says a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be missed. Rest in peace. Love you. He loved his teams and he loved the city. He really, really did. One of the good ones, one of the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a great sport. And he had a great sports talk show name. More Sports, Les Levine. Because God, says a lot about a guy. Anyways, Les, we'll miss you. Next week on Set the Edge, it'll be a West Coast swing for our Cavs. We'll also talk about Super Bowls, stuff we liked, Super Bowl stuff we didn't like. I'll complain more about how my kids have a messy room. And then, we'll also get more into fandom stuff, which we didn't get to today. We will also talk about Mickey Callaway and Omar Vizquel. Sadly, those stories need to be talked out and pressed. Today's probably not the day to do that. We will talk about both. And we'll also probably start getting into more about the Cavs because the Browns will start exiting. And and on the Browns note, I've learned this over the years. Give the Super Bowl, hangover a week. I think you'll start hearing some rumors usually after President's Day, and you'll start hearing it more swirl. And I think it's coming.
Really picking up in March for sure.
Oh, yeah. I think this year it might pick up even more because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
Wouldn't be surprised if it picks up more even after. I give it a week. Like a good week after Super Bowl, I think you'll get there. So Holly likes the Bucks. We did your prop bets. You can thank us when you win big winnings. If you'd like to donate, we sure love it. Yeah, exactly. Bagel bites, dips, and more. I'll give my menu. I'm sure she will give hers. That and more. Emma Quartz will give her menu. Isaac, Kevin, Damian, EJ, we love you all. I guess, have a happy Super Bowl week, you all. And like I said, we'll come back to all the other stuff we just mentioned at the end of the show. I'm now rambling. To everybody who loves Bob Ross as much as I do, paint your happy trees, little happy trees. And I keep saying this, but I will end on this note. The Cavs are better. They're doing great. Don't get down if they lose a lot these next 2 weeks. Just saying it. It's. I think these first two games are big with the Bucks at home. I think they got to split. They need a split. They got to split these two games.
Yep.
Set the Edge off until probably Wednesday, maybe Thursday. Are we going back to Wednesday? Wednesday?
Probably yes, because I'll be out of town, so we'll talk.
Oh yes. Holly's got she's a mover and shaker. I
haven't been on a plane in like 2 years. So
well, there'll be all sorts of
my niece and nephew. So
that's good. Yes, and I'll be traveling.
At the Edge from Fort Mill, but who knows?
Hey, I can travel.
We'll talk, Andy.
Have a great week. Happy Super Bowl. May your bagel bites be with you.